I'm Henderson Holmes, Executive Director of the Barbados International Business Association, BIBA for short. I first joined BIBA in 2003 as its first Executive Director. Just before I joined BIBA, I was working with the BIBC, Barbados Investment Development Corporation, and I was at the time acting director in charge of the International Business Division. BIBA was in heavy talks with the government about what needs to be done to improve Barbados's competitiveness. And they had prepared a very lengthy presentation which they did to then Prime Minister Owen Arthur and a few cabinet members. And out of that, the Prime Minister had told them that he wanted them to get together and let them know what they needed in order to move the sector forward. And we were having meetings at the yacht club. I remember we went into very intense discussions on the weekend following. And somewhere along the way, one of the long-standing members of BIBA said, we're going to do all this, and then we submit these things to government, and we never really get much of a response. And I made a comment. I asked the question, do you know why you don't get a response? And nobody answered. And I said, well, it's because BIBA is an organization in form only, but you don't really have a presence. So my suggestion was that they needed a presence. They needed a presence like the Chamber of Commerce, and where people knew where their contact point was and knew how to get in touch with them. A couple of weeks later, I got a call from the then president of BIBA, Mr. George Gleadall, who said that he had gotten the board to agree that they will establish a secretariat, and he would like to get from me what I see as the role of the secretariat, and or how I see the secretariat functioning, and what I see as the role of the executive director. So I put on some stuff on paper for him and sent it in an email and sent it to him, and then I got a call back from him a few weeks later saying that yes, they're actually going to be hiring an executive director and they would like to get my CV. And I submitted my CV, and as I say, the rest is history. You can say that I was recruited for BIBA under George Gleadall, and George became sort of my mentor and my barometer as to what I was doing right and what I was doing and what I was not doing so right. And in fact, it was a kind of tough love relationship, because George is a no-nonsense person, a very caring and very straightforward person, very, very straightforward. So he would not hesitate to send me an email or call me and say, Hendy, what is this you're doing? This is foolishness. You need to do X, Y, Z, rather than do this, and that kind of thing. So, and we had a very honest, very open relationship. We would exchange, views and that kind of thing. So, and George would not be long if he thought that I wasn't going the right way. And eventually, I found my own legs, and with the support of a number of people in the international business sector at the time, we managed to establish a secretariat that was fully functional. So we took up the space the BIDC offered us in the Small Business Development Center, and we established our secretariat there. So I moved from being the sole employee of BIBA, and we moved on to hiring a second person in the secretariat. So myself and the executive assistant for quite a few years, until we expanded the staff to 4 persons. We had 3 clear strategic objectives. One was cultivating and maintaining strategic alliances with organizations, government agencies and government departments that were relevant to what we were doing. Another one was keeping our members informed, of course, and educating the Barbadian public as to the nature and the importance of the international business sector to the economy of Barbados and to their livelihoods. We thought it was very important for the development of the sector, since the sector's development would impact positively on Barbadians' lives. But equally, it was important that Barbadians for Barbadians to understand that they had an important role to play in the development of the sector, because our international business sector thrives a lot on our Barbadian workers, the skills that are available here in Barbados. They are a highly educated workforce. So we spend a lot of time trying to educate Barbadians and get them to better understand what international business is about. I first conceptualized International Business Week in around 2002, when I was working with the BIDC, but I couldn't get a go-ahead to launch this International Business Week until 2008, when we had a president of BIBA, Lisa Lewis, who asked the question, "Hendy, you think you could get the work?" And I said yes, and she said, "Well, go with it." And that is how International Business Week got started. So we had our first International Business Week in 2009. Oh, it was a resounding success. Ever since then, everyone wanted to be associated with International Business Week. So we get a lot of support for International Business Week from that first one. And every year, it gets better and better and better. The International Business Week has very wide appeal, and hence every year has gone from strength to strength. We've gotten better and better. It has some social events. It has educational events where we try to educate the public through our public discussion forum, and educate young people in schools, give them some insights into the international business sector and how they can prepare themselves for playing a role in that sector through the Career Showcase and also through our School Symposium. School Symposium is a successor event to what was originally our essay and speech competition. But we found that we weren't getting the width of participation. In fact, we weren't getting as many schools participating when we had the essay and speech competition. And now we have the School Symposium. We can't find enough space for the schools and the children that want to come. And also there is our social consciousness feature of the International Business Week, which is our charity fund walk and run, through which we raise funds to finance aspects of the healthcare. And that is what the International Business Week is about. I think BIBA has an important role to play going forward in development of the international business sector in Barbados. I think it is that bridge between the government, the people, and the international business community, and I think that the BIBA has to continue to play that role very effectively, because the future of the international business sector is very much in the hands of Barbadians, and it actually depends upon the extent to which we can infuse that understanding into our young Barbadians.